This is Cult Confessions with Christy and Josie. Welcome to our podcast.
Trigger warning. May contain themes of religious trauma and sexual abuse. Disclaimer. All information in this podcast is our opinion based on our experiences. We do not purport any of this content to be inherently factual and believe that each individual has the right to draw their own conclusion.
Hi, I'm Christy.
And I'm Josie. And today on Cult Confessions, first time ever, we have two guests. So welcome Lauren and Michelle. We're super excited to have you guys here. Round of applause. Excellent.
Long time no see.
Yep. So Lauren and Michelle both ended up at the same home, boarding school / type thing. We're going to call it an abusive home because it was. It's called Anchor Character Training Center, right? And that's in Fort Dodge, Iowa. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of Lauren's history and her experiences at that school. Michelle has done a separate episode, so there's more. But yeah, so Lauren, do you want to just tell us a little bit about just your history with the IFB, how you got started in church, and how you found Anchor?
Well, how I usually tell people how I even got started in this whole thing was the church that I had ended up going to, because I was like Southern Baptist, just mellow, whatever. And so with that, I was at home one day and somebody came to my door and they said that they were from the Jacksonville Baptist Church, or I believe that's what it was called, yeah. And so then they were like, well, if you come to church with us for the youth group, then we will give you a prize for coming. And then later on, I found out a friend of mine actually did go. I went with her. And so I was basically bribed to go to this church with a bag of chips.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Bag of chips, man. But then I ended up actually really liking the people that I went to church with and whatnot and became friends with them. And I was like, oh, well, I should be like them. And they got me wrapped up in the whole thing, just the skirts, the hair, the everything. And I got my mom involved. I got my grandmother involved. Those were the two that I was raised by.
You were a good little witness.
Pretty much. And so then the youth pastor that was there, he's the one that was also the principal at the school, which I had gone to and got kicked out of that as well 3 months in.
So tell us why you got kicked out of that school.
They didn't like that I wrote Evanescence on my papers, and but they kept saying that it was just because my grades were not satisfactory.
Weird.
Okay.
I mean, I went from my whole entire life going to public school and going straight into a Christian academy, and the curriculum's up here. So naturally, they threw me in what age I was, what grade I was supposed to be in, and I had no clue. But it was very, very much so because they didn't like that I doodled and I wrote Evanescence on my folders. They didn't like it. So
what a good reason.
They want me there.
So
I'm trying to figure out
how
which one
did you
I
get
should
to
say.
Anchor?
Well, I mean, okay, so how did I get to Anchor? The principal of that school, also the youth pastor, he was also saying that I should go there. He talked my mom into sending me there. We've had other kids go there. We've had a boy actually just recently come back from being there, and he did great. He's great now, and he has a great relationship with his family, and he's doing great with God, and blah blah blah. And so she was like, okay, well, this is coming from a trusted source. I'm going to believe him that my kid is going to be safe and taken care of in, under God's anything. And so she sent me there, and this is where we're at now.
So why did your mom want to send you there? Or like, why did they want to send you there? What was the reasoning?
Um, well, I was that kid that was I was the kid that was like cutting themselves.
Okay.
And I was also stealing. I had recently, when I was younger, I was about 14, I had gotten in trouble for stealing a cell phone. And so with that, they kind of just, they made me do like, what do you call it? Services and stuff like that. But that's what got me to, or got my mom really thinking about what needed to be done to help me.
Yeah.
So your mom wasn't
Because I was
trying to
doing all
punish
that, but
you. It sounds like she was trying to help you, not necessarily punish you by sending you there.
exactly, 100%. Like my
Okay.
mom and I, we are still like we're best friends.
Mhm.
We have definitely um, bonded a lot after that.
Yeah.
Good.
We still don't talk about a lot of things, only for the fact that like it messes. Like she's messed up too from it, and she didn't go, but she sent her kids there believing that she was going to be okay, and
Yeah.
nothing. So
That makes
she
sense.
believes that she failed as a parent.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I mean, she put her trust in those that were in leadership and stuff, and she,
Exactly.
it's not her fault for what they decided to leave out with like the
Yeah.
information about the home and stuff. But can you tell us a little bit about how it was for you going to Anchor, like the process?
Um, well, I mean, even just like the few days beforehand, like it was just like it was chaos. It was complete chaos. My grandmother was starting to back out, and she was trying to tell my mom to stop and like don't send her. And my mom was
Mm.
just like, and she was like having her own breakdowns, and
Breakdown.
it was like,
Hmm.
yeah, it was insane. Like I can remember it like literally like a month ago. Like it wasn't that long ago. Is how it feels. And getting there, I remember it was so cold. I remember we weren't allowed to have thigh high socks. I was just trying to bring stuff that was going to keep me warm. Weren't
Hmm.
allowed to have those. She kept those. I remember I had eyeliners that I was using as like art pens because they were like the eyeliner brushes. And I didn't even use them, and she would make me keep, or she'd take those from me. I remember talking to her about I wanted to lose weight when I was there, and she just laughs and says that, oh, the girls always gain weight while we're here or while they're here. And I was like, well, that's fun. And then she showed me my room, and it was just the closet, the one metal closet, and the one metal bed is what I had in the pink room. Well, it was before it was pink, but um, and I was there for 3 months in that room by myself.
That was
Were
the
you?
So,
isolation room as
so
well.
why were you there for 3 months? I thought it was just, isn't the like regular routine or whatever schedule for you to be there for like the first month, right? And then, okay, so what happened?
Um, they basically kept saying that like the biggest thing to them for me that I remember was that I was too loud. Um,
Take your time.
You're fine.
um, like I really would get in trouble all the time because my voice was loud. Um, and so they would use that a lot, and they would say that well, you were just trying to go behind our backs and make friends. Yeah, sure was. And they would make me
Wow.
like sit up there during like lunches and dinners and stuff. I'd sit in my room, and they'd have somebody bring a tray of food and put it on the floor, knock, and then walk away, and then I'd have to pick it up off the floor and eat by myself. And they would do that because they said that I was just loud and I wasn't being obedient and doing what they were asking of me, which was to kind of just learn myself while I'm there for the first 30 days, and then they would let me like conversate and hang out with the girls outside.
So you got in trouble because you wanted friends.
Pretty much.
You got locked up for 2 extra months because you just wanted some sort of like a social connection.
Yep.
And I think it's worth mentioning that Lauren didn't have a mentor. Because usually kids, when they're there for the first month, they have one person that they can talk to. Lauren didn't have anybody for
Why?
her
Why?
first month.
Yeah, it's always doing anything. Like, and so, negative attention was positive attention to me at that point because it was attention.
Yeah.
It was some kind of attention.
Yeah.
And which was making everything worse. So I would purposely like hum or whistle songs that were ungodly, worldly, and it would get somebody's attention immediately. And even if it was like, oh well, there you go, you get some demerits for that, I'm like, sweet, you heard me. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's where it really started getting down to where I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you
Yeah.
there total?
Just the year.
Just a year.
Almost had to stay an extra month because if you hit, I think it was 50 demerits, it was in the contract that you had to stay another month. I hit 45.
Ooh. Skin your
Yep.
teeth.
Oh yeah, I started scrubbing mop buckets to get those demerits down. I remember that smell too. Mm-mm.
So you get there and your things were taken away. Were you taken off any medication when you got there? Because I know Michelle was.
Oh yeah, I was on Adderall by that point, I was already on Adderall for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
And how old were you
Mhm.
when you got to Anchor?
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Did your
they
parents?
just
Your
cold
parents
turkey.
knew, right?
About the medications, I have no idea. I actually don't know if I've ever talked to her about it or not. I mean, I would assume.
Yeah. I think it
But I
probably was in the contract or something.
It's in the
but, like,
contract. I've read the contract. It's in there.
yeah.
it's just wild. Like, just cold turkey dropping you off of meds is insane.
And then expecting you to behave like
Before
the way
now.
that they
Yeah,
want
if
you
it-
to.
Especially if you guys have ADHD. Like, what
Yeah.
do they expect?
Yeah,
And, like,
and,
to
like
be
now I know.
included, like, for me, it's like a lot of the discipline and all this stuff surrounding children within like most, I don't know, like IFB, whatever, like old fashioned type of parenting. It's like you're punishing the child for being a child.
Yeah.
It's like,
It literally
kids
is.
are just loud. Kids are loud. Like you kind of
Mhm.
just have to get used to it. I'm sorry.
And
You know,
it
like-
goes beyond that into like teenager like age because teenagers rebel. 99% of teenagers have some sort of a rebellious phase. It's part of growing up. It's part of learning how to make mistakes.
It's part of their like finding your own individualism too. Like
Yep.
3-year-olds do this.
Yep.
Like when you become a 3-year-old, you're like, oh, I don't have to listen to what mommy says. I can do whatever I want now. Like I don't have to listen. That's the same
Yep,
thing.
testing water.
Like there's phases of like being like, oh, I can do this. I can make my own decisions and stuff like that. And that's so natural and normal.
And it's a really,
And-
really important part of growing up. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
a really important part of growing up, and they're just trying to take that away from you because they don't want to deal with it. Like, why are we having so many kids then if we don't want to deal with kids being kids?
Yeah.
Lauren would get in trouble for laughing.
No, that's crazy.
Are you
like,
serious?
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
that's literally an
Um,
emotion. Like You can't.
Yeah.
What was
Sorry,
their logic for that?
Um,
She has a loud laugh.
Probably. I'm sure when they were running out of other
Yeah.
excuses, that was probably it.
Jeez.
Well, I know there was one time, I remember this. I actually got in trouble by the dean whenever I can't remember if it was like the first 3 months isolation or if it was a different kind of isolation and a different time. Either way, I was over at the over demerits table, right? And so that's up against the wall. You face the wall and you're by yourself basically. And the girls behind me, they were making me laugh. They were being funny as hell, and I was laughing at whatever they were saying. And I was trying so hard to not get caught too. Like I was just over there just trying to eat this bland ass food and trying not to get caught at laughing at the funniest it was something.
I swear when you're trying not to laugh,
Yes.
it's even worse.
We literally
Right?
did this like yesterday when we were recording a podcast. Like Christy could not say the word interpret. She finally got it out and I couldn't stop laughing even though we were talking about
Yeah,
very
you
serious
couldn't.
things. I couldn't stop laughing. I made her laugh like 3 more times. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
Oh man. No, but for reals, I think I've done that in church before where like
Oh,
we
yeah.
were messing around in church and I was literally like you know
Yeah.
when you're like trying to keep it in so hard.
And then it comes
Yeah.
out with
Oh,
the
yeah.
funniest sound. Like
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes.
it's great.
But yeah. That's
So you got in
totally
trouble for that.
understandable.
Oh yeah. And it was because of Michelle.
Damn, Michelle.
Actually, it was another girl that said something to Michelle and called her a name, but it was so funny.
Who called me a name?
It was when you ate the candy.
Oh yeah, Chippy. Because my front tooth broke off. Like,
That's the one.
Oh my
Like-
god.
yeah, and I couldn't get it fixed when I was there. It took a while.
That's pretty funny.
I will never forget that. I still laugh today as I did. I wanted to laugh that day, I guess I
Yeah.
could say. Oh my god.
So, you said that you were sorry. I'm
It's
about
not
to go
that
very
funny.
I'm about to go very serious, so I just want to wait till you stop laughing because I was
We
gonna
might
ask
be
you
here
about,
a minute.
I was gonna ask you. So you said that you were cutting before you went in, right? That was one of the reasons that you got sent there. Did you continue doing that while you were there?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Like, as the whole negative attention is positive attention,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely continued. And ironically enough, in that little tiny room full of nothing, I found a hole in the wall with a safety pin in it.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, how ironic.
So how did they respond to that?
With that's when I got the bathroom buddy. And
Okay.
had
How
to
soon
be
after was that?
immediate.
Okay.
It was yeah,
So
as
then-
soon as they found out that I had to have somebody watching me at all times.
So then you were in isolation, but then you had to have a bathroom buddy, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. I guess for me, like, I feel like it kind of sounds like because you did self-harm type of things, that's probably why they wanted to keep you separated from the other girls. Or do you think there was other reasons?
I think it might have added on to it, sure, but the whole thing was just because like they were getting upset that I was misbehaving, which was making the other girls misbehave, I guess is how you could see it too.
Okay.
Is,
Yeah, like you were a bad influence kind of thing. Because to me, like being loud is like just bullshit. that's a bullshit reason.
Well, they told me, well, boys don't like girls that are loud, and I was like, well, I'm not here for that.
Well, like
so,
I know that that's what they said and stuff, but to me, it sounds like that they were just using that as an excuse for other reasons of why they wanted to keep you separated from the girls.
true.
So then on top of that, are you bisexual or
I am gay. Yes, I am lesbian.
lesbian? Okay, because I feel like I remember us talking about this, but do you want to kind of tell us, how did they find out?
Oh, I straight told him. I was like,
Oh,
well,
okay.
so there's this. I really think girls are like awesome.
Okay, so then, and that was right away?
No.
No. Okay.
That one I kind of held in for a while.
Okay. So then when they found that out.
Yeah, was that comment about, boys don't like girls who are loud, was that before or after they found out you were gay?
That was before.
Okay.
You're like, I don't really care.
Like, great, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when I came out and said anything to the dean about it, it wasn't that I was like one or the other. I was just, girls are great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never really said like just that because I'm like it was still like another 6 years before I even came out about that. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I came out as bisexual when I was younger because still experimenting with that and yeah. So that was, I would say, I was already out of isolation, so it wasn't within the first 3 months. I'd say at least 6.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
And how did they respond to that?
It's just a phase, Lauren. The devil's trying to get to you. And then immediately all the rules changed.
Like what?
What kind of rules?
I ended up having to be the last one to take showers in the mornings. I took morning showers and they made me be the last one. Girls, I'm sorry, the neighbor's kid. If you can hear them.
We can't hear.
No, I can't.
Perfect. And so they would have all the girls change one at a time. And if we were in our rooms, we had to change and you had to go behind your closet door. You had to open your door and you had to close or change clothes behind the door to where nobody could see you.
Was that an everybody rule or like just for you?
They made it an everybody rule.
Okay.
But we all knew where it stemmed from.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I had some girls that were mad at me for that one, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really your fault.
Well. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit?
This for you.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your guys' relationship, like during being there together?
Well, Michelle.
Go ahead.
She was my
Go
friend. Well, the day that we actually I was still new, and it was my first 30 days. It was like, I don't know, my 3rd day maybe, and it was when we had to go clean the church. They put me with Michelle, and we were cleaning the bathrooms up front at the Harvest Church. And we were like telling each other our names, and I was like, well, I'm 14. She goes, well, I'm 14, and I'm like, my birthday's February 1st. She goes, mine's the 2nd. And then we were just immediately we were good.
Mm-hmm.
But with everything that the church, the school, and everything teaches us who to be, how to be, what we're supposed to be, So Michelle was kind of like the friendly snitch. But she was still if I were to consider anybody my bestie there, it was her. And so I still was just what's up, we're good. But then I would tell her something, and then she would go and tell on me, thinking that it's in the best
interest. Yeah.
For either one of us, you know what I mean? So now I see that as an adult. But back then I was like, well, what are you doing? You're my friend.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good when you're 14.
Later, we still talk on the regular.
Yeah. So how often were you guys together then? Just it was literally just bathroom breaks.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. They tried to
You-
separate us a lot because I think that we did click pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I don't know the answer to that.
Because
Wow.
you were over demerits a lot, so you weren't allowed to go in the rec room and watch movies with us. You weren't allowed to come out in the hallway and, talk to people.
So does that mean that she was mostly in isolation then?
Yeah.
Because like,
How much
A
of the
lot.
time that you spent at Anchor was spent in isolation?
So we got the first 3 months, and I want to say there was like all in all another month, like another 30 days within.
So a
being there.
third,
'Cause,
a
like,
third of the time that you spent there because you
Well,
were there for a year.
because it sounds like if you're like, what do you do if you're not allowed to do anything? Right? Like if you're in
Read your
trouble
Bible.
and you're not allowed to like go play or watch movies or anything, what are you doing instead?
Yeah, you're reading your Bible, trying to get some kind of message out of it, and
Are you like
a lot
in
of the
your
times they would
room?
make you like,
Are you just in your room reading your Bible or where are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're in
so
your
like to
room.
me, I feel like that's still isolation. Like
Yeah.
if you're not allowed to be with other people at all, I feel like that's still you're still being isolated without like the quote unquote this is isolation title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's you're not allowed to socialize.
Yeah, they took that from me a lot.
Lauren, how long were you under demerits for that whole year?
I know there was once when my mom actually got to come up. Actually, I don't think I even was at that time. I think they actually were just letting me go because my mom had come up before and I was over to Merritt's and we had to just sit in the parking lot. So I think the second time that my mom came up, which was the last time, and I think I was actually still over, but they let me go. Weirdly enough. So I really don't know. I think I was over to Merritt's when I left.
Do you remember there being a rule that when you were over demerits, you couldn't talk to your parents?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, how many times you actually got to talk to your mom besides letters.
And half the time I didn't even get those. I looked for those. I can't find them because even in my letters, half of them were marked out.
That's crazy.
So-
They're like literally filtering what your parents are telling you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's wild.
And it
Like
wasn't
it's
even
your
an easy
parents.
job.
And vice versa. They were reading all the letters.
Yeah.
Did you ever end up getting SWATs?
More than I was even supposed to get. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you walk us through like what happened when you had to get SWATs?
I remember the very first time, and she would say, "Well, what the other girls would usually do, Lauren, is we come in here, we shut the door, and here's this clipboard, and it has your names on there, and it has the amount of like demerits that you have, and so you'd go in there, you'd sign that you were supposed to get your three SWATs was what your average was for a day." And each SWAT was per demerit, I think. So like if you wanted 3 demerits off, it was 3 SWATs. And they had a board. See, I don't know, what's that, about a foot? Just under. And I'd say about like an inch and a half thick. Had a handle, everything. And so she would have you sign your name or initial, whatever and she'd tell you like, okay, so go to the chair, which they had like one of those metal folding chairs up against the wall, and you put your hands on the seat. Like you bend over, you put your hands on the seat, and she'll count down sometimes if she feels like it, and then she does her 3, and you go, you walk out, go do what you're supposed to do. I remember my very first time, and it was traumatizing. It was horrifying, and I still to this day remember it. And it tried to be nice about it, I suppose, but she hit me hard enough on that first swat that my face went into the brick wall.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And she laughed. It was great. So that's like the very first time I ever got that. And so from then on, I would either have to like put on like this mask of like, oh, this is funny, or I'm going to be mad about it. Like it couldn't just be like, get it done and go. It had to be something because I was so mad and hurt, I guess,
Yeah.
that was happening to me at 14 years old.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. Yeah.
Had you ever gotten hit before that point?
Nothing but a hand whenever my mom
Mm-hmm.
growing up, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, it was good enough for me as a kid. It was fine.
Mhm.
I didn't need anything. I don't really think anybody really does,
Yeah.
personally.
Oh, yeah,
But
for sure.
going from that to that also is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, wasn't expecting that one. And I don't remember them bringing that up during conversations with them when our parents were here to drop us off. Yeah.
We weren't allowed to talk about that either.
Did your
To our
parents know
parents.
about the SWATs?
Yeah, that's yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I know that she knew that there was going to be some kind of discipline.
Okay.
I knew that much. But what kind, I'm not sure if she knew
Okay.
that much.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the financial aspect of it?
Yes. Yes, I do. So I not once, and I remember actually talking to Michelle about this back then too, like being there, talking to her. Not once did I get to go with the girls to go shopping. Within that entire year I was there, I never got to go shopping because I was told by all of them that I had no funds coming in. When I know that the smallest amount that was ever sent within a month was $40, I think. And that was the smallest. And who knows, with my grandmother was top tier of grandparents, and she would just randomly send money.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was in cash. So there's like no paper trail on what was sent, who sent it, and how much. So
But
I
you
know
never
for
saw
immature.
any of it.
I got some of the stuff that I wanted every once in a while. Like I got my shampoo and conditioner that I wanted. And that would be like it. They'd be like, oh, well, you only had enough for this.
Shampoo and conditioner does not cost $40 a month.
No,
Like,
it sure doesn't. And even
So-
15, 20 years ago, it sure wasn't that much.
Yeah, it
No.
wasn't. So what would happen if you didn't have finances to get
I
like
was-
the shampoo and stuff you wanted?
I was given VO5. You,
Oh, yeah.
that's the dollar
No.
store stuff. Yeah.
And that's what I had to use. And I would literally cry because I am a 14-year-old girl who loves their hair. Like that is the only thing that at this point, like some days still to this day, that is the only thing that I still really like is my hair. and it's falling out because of this. And I'm trying to ask them, I don't care what it is, just a different kind. Can you please, like, let me have something else? And they're just like, nope, you're just going to have to deal with that because you're just wanting attention. So my hair's falling out at 14 years old. Same with that nasty powdered
Laundry soap.
That's it. That's the word. Ooh, raunchy.
It was bad. It smelled
It was
so bad.
So I know in the like in the language of the contract that you sign or that your parents sign or whatever when you go there, it lays out very specific rules that you have to follow in order to make sure that your child gets funds. I think that they specify it can be cash or check, and it has to be mailed, and it has to specifically say it's going to this person. And if any of those factors are missing, Harvest Baptist or Anchor considers it a donation or a gift or whatever. So it sounds like they probably missed a factor or something like that, and the church just decided to keep the money.
I feel like with how I don't know, it's just me, but I feel like my grandmother alone, especially, but my mom as well, was very specific.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that there was anything. I have been told by the dean, I remember this day, it was my birthday, and she told me that I had to go open my presents by myself because I was spoiled and the girls were going to get mad. So they didn't even need to know that I was even getting anything for my birthday.
Wow.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay. So that's a
We've all
problem.
been happy for you.
So, besides the financial aspect, you also experienced some like medical issues while you were there.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Do you need a minute?
Yep, we'll take a minute. No problem.
Like I've been wanting this and all of this good stuff, but like it's like terrifying. And making it almost like more so real than it ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you put it out there, and it's not just talking to somebody who you trust or somebody who experienced it with you, and you put it out there for strangers to listen to, it's really raw, and it is really painful, and yeah, it's really hard, and it makes it a lot more real.
Yeah.
You okay? You want to start again, or you need another couple minutes?
No, we're good.
Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about the medical issues that you had while you were there?
Well, when I was like, and I was not aware of this either somehow or another, but when I was 8, I was diagnosed with seizures. And there was one time we were at Harvest, we were at church, we were standing up for prayer. And I remember standing up, and that's it. That's all I remember. And I remember waking up in the building that was on the side of the church, and then I just had like people like hovered over me, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I remember the preacher telling me that this is the devil trying to get to me. I'm doing something wrong, and I need to get with God and figure out what that is. But then again, I don't remember anything, and I am waking up inside of the hospital, and I had an ambulance ride and everything. So turns out I was having grand mal seizures. And then I came back to the anchor to the home, and I was told by one of the deans, the teachers, whatever, and I was told not to tell my mom because it was going to worry her.
What the
And she
hell?
didn't need to know.
What do you mean?
I wasn't
She
even allowed
didn't
to
need
call.
to know.
I had just gone through all of this very, very weird stuff. Waking up in a hospital and waking up with like snow on me and not remembering how I even got outside. And not allowed to talk to my mom about it.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the only, I mean, I'm not going to say anything because it was somebody else, but it's not the only thing that has happened there where
Yeah.
they were not allowing us to tell our parents. So, like, it's not just me on that one.
Did they, so like after your stay in the hospital, did the doctors recommend any medication to keep this from happening? Like, was there any medical protection put in place because this is a medical disorder?
I did not get any paperwork.
Okay.
If I did, then it was immediately just given to whoever was in charge that night. Because I don't have those papers, because that would have ended up being proof of something. So,
Right.
yeah. And I wasn't allowed to talk about it to anybody, like any of the girls, because I was in that back room at that point. And, yeah, no, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. It never happened.
Jeez. So even though it happened in a church in front of the entire congregation, you weren't allowed to talk about it at all. Did any of the other girls ever ask you about it?
Oh, yeah. Mainly just the girls that I was, like, in the room with. But also those were the girls that were the ones that went to whoever was in charge that day to let them know. They were like the eyes,
Okay.
if that means anything. So I didn't really like talk about it, but I talked about it.
Yeah. Did they, so this church and this school, they specialize in spiritual warfare. What was your experience with that part of it?
I really don't know, I guess. Like, I did a lot of things that they wanted me to do to just basically not be miserable. So I was just like, when it came into any of that, I was just like, oh, well, I believe that this is happening because of this, and giving them the answers that they wanted.
Yeah.
When I still, deep down, I didn't believe any of this. Like, I don't know. I don't really know so much, really, I guess, like, how to answer that question.
That's okay.
Really.
That's okay.
Did you have a meeting with Brother Suter? Did he ever like see if there was demons inside of you ever?
Not with him, no.
Man, that wasn't my experience. He was convinced I had a demon inside me. He had me like close my eyes, imagine me being in this field or whatever, and then what name first pops up in my head. And it was always Mary. And so I remember him being like, okay, that's what the devil does. He comes in sheep's clothing, like, so he prayed over me. And I legit thought I was demon possessed. Like, so confused.
I did not know that he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do that to you. You're way worse than me.
I know.
Oh my lord.
I'm kind of offended. I want that. I want it. That's kind of. Why didn't they do that for me?
Yeah, we should ask. We should ask.
Would have
I
solved
should.
all your problems, right?
Yeah. What if she was demon possessed? Brother Suitor, you dropped the ball.
But no, you just told us that we were possessed by demons, but we need to vote for you.
Yeah, we had to what is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm totally
The
blanking.
the tele.
We had to call people and see if they'll vote for him.
What
Oh
was it
my
for
God.
me?
Yeah, we used to
What?
like, what's it called?
Like
When you
telemarketing
go
or like
around
campaigning?
Yeah,
We helped them
campaigning. Yes, we had to
campaign.
be in a
Yeah.
parade.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, you couldn't be over demerits to campaign,
That's
right?
crazy.
I was still part of all of that. They made me work on all of that.
Yeah.
So
Guess who
this
sat there and pretended that I was on the phone?
So this man was
I'm
running
not
for some
telling
kind of
nobody.
office, or what were we voting for?
Cubicle in like this whole building. Like we had this whole building. We all had to go sit in a cubicle. We had a headset. Or no, we didn't have a headset. We had regular phones, and we had to call the names and numbers on this list. You just get a stack of papers, call them, tell them to vote for him, and I'm like,
I think
okay.
mayor is what they said.
No, it was
Talking-
senator.
Senator?
Like a state
Okay.
senator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like free child labor.
That's
Yeah.
bonkers. Oh my gosh.
100%. Just like the cornfields. Child labor. Shucking the corn, child labor. Peeling the apples, child labor.
Everything. We cleaned the church. We cleaned the home. We cleaned everything.
We cleaned the church. We cleaned that kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Me in that kitchen.
So
Even if you weren't over demerits, you have to clean.
speaking of kitchens, I know Michelle, you had like meals taken away from you sometimes. Lauren, did you ever have that happen?
All the time. How I gained weight, I'm not sure. Because Sundays and Wednesdays, I want to say it was mainly Sundays. But Sundays and Wednesdays were the quote quote the busier days. So we'll go with Sunday. And so like on a Sunday morning, it would be you wake up, you do your chores. No, you have your breakfast, then you do your chores. And breakfast for me or anybody that was over to Marathon on a Sunday, you get one of those small styrofoam bowls of cereal. You don't even get the sugary kind. You get that gross kind you don't like, but you're so hungry you're going to eat it anyways. You eat that 5 o'clock in the morning or so, 5:30. And then you go about your day and you do everything. You do your chores or whatever. You work all day in that hot freaking kitchen and smelling all of the good lunch and that steak dinner that preacher gets on Sundays. You get to help like season that or whatever. You get to watch that being cooked. You don't get it. You don't get lunch. You have to cook and clean and do your chores and do your Bible, do your church 2 times that day. And then you get dinner, which is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Even if you don't like it, you're eating it because you're hungry. And that was all the time for me. So I got used to that one real quick.
Did they take away dinner on the days that it wasn't Sunday and Wednesday? Because I remember them taking away dinner, or like the biggest meal, or
It
whatever.
was usually lunches, which was the biggest meal. Dinners, I don't know. I could be wrong. But I pretty much I remember like it mainly just being like bread with something on it.
Mhm.
Like maybe a sandwich. You might have gotten lucky for a sandwich. Like turkey or something. But usually it was like a slab of peanut butter on a piece of wheat bread.
So it sounds like they didn't really care about nutrition or anything like that.
No, they said that something was going into your body. It didn't matter.
Whoa. That's not healthy. Okay. So what other kinds of experiences did you have there? Like, is there anything else that you want to cover about your time there?
The my favorite story is the moldy bagel.
Ooh, tell us.
I was in kitchen crew. I was over demerits, and I was so hungry. So I went to the pantry when I was having to put stuff back there or whatever, which was rare. I usually had to have somebody with me if I left the room. But I got to go back there to go put something back there or whatever, and I found a bagel. Had a little bit of mold on it. I was like, whatever, you know what? Took the mold off, threw it, and just started shoving this bagel in my face. And I can't remember if it was like one of the girls that saw me or if I was like caught by like somebody in charge or whatever. But I ran the other way down the hallway and locked myself in that downstairs bathroom by the kitchen and barricaded myself in there to finish said multi bagel. I had the dean who was there screaming at me through the door, trying to bust it down. Also had 2 male leaders. I can't remember who they were. They were also trying to get this door open. I wanted a bagel. I wanted to eat. Forget all y'all. And so I got, just with that alone, I got 14 demerits.
What was
Yeah.
considered over
And-
demerits? Like, what was the number limit?
Like, what do you mean? Like over, like,
Like, if you hit a certain
know.
number, you were over demerits, or how did that work?
oh, 10. 10 was your
10.
Like, over demerits, but I was already over demerits. And then they added on another 14 just because of that incident.
Wow.
Because you were hungry?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And same thing, like whenever I was actually told, somebody came down and was like super excited to tell me that I finally got under demerits that day. I was just wrapping up lunch crew. And it was a Wednesday because I remember it was tostadas. And I was so pumped to finally have tostadas. And I made 2 tostadas. That's it. And I actually got in trouble for making 2 tostadas. I did not win. Like, I never won anything. But that was my favorite one. That was my favorite story. Or, well, I mean, I've got plenty. How much time we got?
So you leave Anchor, you graduate from the program, right?
If that's a graduation, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your experience like after leaving?
My mom actually, I was still allowed to listen to the Disney Channel radio, so that was kind of cool. That was rad. Yeah.
We didn't get that.
And I still got to listen to Celine Dion, so that was rad. But it didn't take long for me to get right back into it, and 10 times worse. Because shortly after that, I went to Job Corps. Yeah, and that is right there. I was there for about 3 months, and within that 3 months, I turned into a completely different person. Even said before the home, I was just wild. We'll leave it at that.
What kind of like lasting effects? Like, what does your life look like because of Anchor right now?
In my firm belief, and also my therapist, I have been diagnosed with a borderline personality disorder. And if anybody has any kind of knowledge or like any kind of anything on that, you would know that it stems from a childhood trauma, which we are still talking about, and she is firmly decided on the fact that it came from the ACTC, which makes sense 100%. And with that comes with a lack of self identity,
Yeah.
basically. Um, Pretty much, I'm 33 years old now. I was 14 at this point, and trying to figure out who I was then, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am now. And that really, really messes you up.
Yeah.
Messes anybody up.
Yeah.
And with that, I have failed at marriages. I have failed at jobs. I have failed at college. I have failed at a career. I had a career, and a very good one, and can't hold on to that. I literally have like no self-worth anymore. I just got out of homelessness because of not being able to hold a job. And all the other things that have happened in life are 10 times more affected. I have now also been diagnosed with CPTSD,
Mm-hmm.
which is not good added with BPD.
No.
Um, so I react a lot differently than most people to things. And life itself has diminished for me. And I firmly believe that it all rooted because of that. Because of them.
I agree.
I am so thankful I have Michelle because she was there and she can just be like, this was true, like this really happened.
Yeah, you're
Because a
not
lot of people
crazy.
don't think that I'm honest. So
We believe you. We absolutely believe you. You're not crazy.
being gaslit for an entire year without your parents, without anybody there to believe you, makes you think like, and like I said, being 33 years old now, I still to this day believe that nobody is going to be on my side. And so I have to overly explain myself, and I have to always have like a plan B and a plan C all the way to Z and back through again to make sure that I'm not going to be like ignored and like basically told that I'm a liar trying to survive. And it's come close plenty. So yeah. And I blame it on the school. I do.
Yeah.
100%.
If you had anything that you would like to say to the people at Anchor who did this, what would you want to say to them?
That they had gone farther than just under being like in belief that this is what they were supposed to be doing. This was their calling. No. This was them being just garbage themselves. They didn't think that they were doing anything right. They didn't think that this was like what God wanted them to do. This was them being just absolute trash. And like getting off on just like children being ruined.
And powerless.
So, forever,
I'm so sorry.
really.
Like you're making me cry. I'm so sorry this happened to you. You didn't deserve this. You were a kid. You did not deserve this. Nobody did. Neither of you.
That's why I'm so thankful I have Michelle for real, for real. Like we have for real been like friends ever since. It's been 20 years.
How does it feel to finally talk about this, like openly?
I'm just like, half of me is like, I don't want my mom to even like listen still,
Yeah.
because she's just as messed up too. So I want some kind of like, not eye for an eye. Don't. That's not it. Is some kind of justice though, because like
Yeah.
I shouldn't be like this. You know what I mean? Like this isn't who I'm supposed to be. So like I don't even get to know who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, that was stolen
So
from you.
oh yeah, and like Michelle, like we were doing a group chat before with another one of the girls, and I was just like, I said something, and then she was just like, "Oh, I thought we were all adults here," and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe some of us weren't robbed from that.
Yeah.
Good to know." But unhealthy coping, it's good. Great, it works for me. So, but yeah, no, it's just I want something to be done. It has
Yeah.
to like something has to be done
Well, this
because
is
like
step one.
yeah, because I'm not the only one.
No, you are
Um,
far from the only one. So, Lauren, can you tell us a little bit about where you are now as far as like your religion and your spirituality? Do you still believe in God? Do you consider yourself a Christian? How do you feel about that?
um, I don't know. I'm on the fence with yeah,
Yeah.
just anything. I'm kind of leaning more towards like spiritual rather
Hmm.
than religious anything.
Yeah.
Because like really just it just doesn't make any sense to me. To me,
Yeah.
just but like spirituality, like it all just makes so much more sense and pieces together itself without me having to make it make sense and like uh like pagan. I'm leaning
Hmm.
more towards that.
So more all
And
about like the nature and that kind of connection.
mm,
I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
just yeah, it's and it's more in a way for me to like explain it like how I see it. It's just like it's beautiful. It really is. It really
Hmm.
really is. And seeing it that way is like pretty intense. Like
Yeah.
because I look back and looking at how fear ruled my life when it was religion.
Hmm.
Everything was based on fear. And
Yeah.
now that I am looking more so into this, it's gorgeous. Like you read these
Yeah.
things and you see these things and you smell these things and you make things your own.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend that's making their own like stuff like for your body, and it's stuff from your yard. So it's like it's happy. It's
Hmm.
You
so some
deserve the
kind of happy.
happy. After
Yep.
all of this bullshit, you deserve the happy.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that there's nothing up there. There's something higher up there. Something.
Mhm.
A lot of the times I think it's a friend of mine that's up there
Yeah.
for sure.
That sounds really beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's hard to think about like what is to come when like you're already dealing with a lot like in this life, like in the present. It's hard to kind of think about like what happens next. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are really, really struggling a lot, with mental health, with finances and stuff like that. And like thinking beyond this moment is really hard because it's like you're just kind of trying to survive day to day.
That's just exactly it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, survival mode is no joke. It yeah, when you're there it dictates everything. I feel like when I've been in survival mode, I just have no control over myself and it doesn't feel good because I like to be in control. I'm a control freak, and I was in survival mode for so many years. I think I literally just had like a moment in therapy earlier this year where I was like, I don't have to be in survival mode anymore. Like, it didn't hit me until I was almost 26. And so I spent almost 20 years of my life in survival mode. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
When
So-
did you get your diagnosis again?
Through therapy.
How long ago?
I was doing DBT for a minute, and it was too much. I couldn't do
Yeah.
DBT. So I quit that. But I was regular therapy therapist.
How long ago did they diagnose you?
This is July, so about a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. That's still pretty early. Like,
Yeah.
I would say, like, give yourself some grace, because, like, it takes a while. It does take a while to figure out what medications work, but you got this. And if you need support, we're here. Like,
Always.
I don't want you to feel like you're alone. Like, Michelle's here, obviously. She's been such a great friend, but, like, I want you to know that we're here for you too if you ever need anyone to talk to or just need to vent or anything. Like,
Or you just want to sit on the phone and cry like a baby. That's fine too. I don't care.
yeah, we can
I'll
we
cry.
I've literally done that with Christy before. It's okay. Like,
if you need, like, if you seriously need support and, like, you're not able to have therapy and stuff like that, if you want, we can always just, like, hop in a Facebook chat or my
Always.
Discord and just talk, or we can just be here while you cry, like, if you just need that support, because I know what it's like to be in a really shitty, like, mental state, and
yeah.
like,
It's really lonely.
yeah, I just want you to know
We're
that
all
you're
crying.
not alone.
God damn it.
Like, me and my best friend were just in a fight last night, our first fight, and it's awful. It just literally feels like death itself, and it feels like just abandonment. It feels like everything, and it's gone.
That's
And
a
then with
huge
everything-
BPD reaction, is that like fear of abandonment.
Oh my god, yeah,
That
relationships
is
are
a
everything.
big BPD thing. And when you
Relationships
feel like, when you feel like
feel
an
like-
important relationship is in jeopardy, that even if
It
you're
feels
not
like
getting
a
abandoned,
death.
it feels like it. It feels like literal death.
Yeah, it feels like a death, like someone's dying if,
Yeah.
like, whenever you end relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it sucks. It really sucks when you feel, like, out of control and, like, you're spinning and drowning. Like, for me, I always compared it to just drowning in feelings.
Yeah.
And, like, feeling like I was telling people how I was feeling, but they weren't really, like, hearing me. And it can just get really, really lonely and very heavy very quickly.
That's
So,
how I
like,
explain it as heavy. It's heavy, and there's something, like, I feel like there's something in my mouth.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's like suffocating.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I always imagine drowning, like the weight of water, like, just, like, drowning me. Like, that's how the emotions feel. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like almost like you feel like you're dying, but just in a different way. Like, mentally you're just, like, going, you know?
Like, you're accepting, but you're terrified, and it's like, for me, like, I'm like I can imagine it, just like I'm there and existing. Something is heavy, but there's nothing to see what's heavy. It's just like a darkness, and it is just like on me, and it's heavy, and it's pushing and pushing, pushing very slowly, and there's no way to get out. So you're just like, well, oh well, but you're still
Yeah.
like sad, and you don't know what to do, and you're out of control, and just
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. Is, yeah, hopeless.
Yeah.
All right, last
Okay.
question. Let's do this.
Okay. What is your cult confession?
um, well, so like I did get caught. We all got caught, and we all still high-fived in the end because it was worth every demerit we got for it. We were supposed to be doing our chores, which was, sweeping, mopping our rooms, whatever. And so I was in the orange room, and then the other girls that were a part of this were in the pink room. No, not pink room. Gosh, the room across the way. I can't remember what color it was now. Anyways, they passed us the mop bucket, and it's all soapy water. We dump it. We completely just dump the whole thing and just swoosh it across the hallway. So we have water all in our room, all in our hallway, all across in the room across the way there. And we're not supposed to be in each other's rooms, right? We don't care. Nope. Nope. We don't care. We are slipping and sliding.
Oh my God.
Penguin bellies and everything across the hallway into each other's rooms. Even the girls that are just like, we're better than you. Nope, nope. They weren't that day. They were part of us. They were part of us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we were having slip and slide, and here she comes down the hallway all mad at us. And I was just like, here she comes, get some more slides in. And so we're still going.
Oh my God.
And oh my God, I think we each got 10. We all got a lot of demerits that day.
Dang.
We knew we were in trouble, and we still kept going.
Yeah.
But
You have to make
sounds
some,
like fun,
some
though.
good memories when you're
It was
stuck in a place like that.
yeah, it was a good one, and I really hope that the other girls remember that. 'Cause that was
That's a good one.
yeah.
Well,
I would think they would, because that was so good.
well, Lauren, thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing that. I know that this has been a long time coming for you, and I'm really glad that we were able to do it.
Oh yeah, just got to get that one step in, and that first foot in the door, and y'all were definitely that foot in the door for me. So
Yeah.
Good.
finally, thank you guys.
Our pleasure.
Okay, well, I think that's the end of the video. If you could please give this a like and subscribe and share with your friends and family. We would love that. And thank you for watching.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.
Ah.
Share your story.
If you have been affected by religious trauma or abuse, we want to hear your story.
Even if you're not ready to share publicly, we would be happy to listen and support you on your journey, free of judgment or pressure.
Please email us at cultconfessionskjv@gmail.com to get started.
We believe you.